Hello everyone! Today I'm gonna make a video about Logan. And I'm just gonna do a movie review for Logan. I'm gonna kind of talk about what the movie's about, my opinions on it, and then we're gonna go right into the spoilers. But before I can get into spoilers, I'm gonna definitely warn you, give you a heads up. That way, if you haven't seen the movie Logan, you can definitely watch this video all the way up until the spoiler alert, and then you can pause the video and then just head out and go see the movie. So anyways, here we go, guys. Logan is a movie. So basically, in a Logan movie, we're set in the future in the year 2029, and all of the mutants in the X-Men universe that we've grown to know and love, they're all dead. So this is the future. All the mutants are mostly all of them are dead and gone. But we definitely see Logan much older. He's older. He's much angrier. He's definitely going through a lot. And of course, this Logan is, you can tell he's been through a lot of stuff. You know, you see him he's older. He has gray hair now. His healing ability has weakened. And there's one scene where one of his claws that come out of his hands, they kind of doesn't go out all the way. So you get a sense that Logan he's been through so much pain, so much anger. He's just an angry old man now, and it's just, I think at this point where you see Logan in this movie, you feel really sad for him, because this timeline that he's in, if you've watched the other X-Men movies, this is definitely a different timeline than I think Days of Future Past, or maybe it did continue after Days of Future Past. But anyway, he's basically a driver. He drives people around. He's trying to raise up money to help out Charles Xavier. And Charles Xavier is basically being taken care of by Logan and another mutant in the movie. I forget his name. But he's they call him, what do they call him? They call him some sort of name, I forget. Comment below what his name was, because I forgot. Anyways, so Logan is pretty much taking care of Charles Xavier, and Charles Xavier has just pretty much become an old person too, who's just losing control of his mutant powers. You know, his telekinesis, his ability to read people's minds, and so he's definitely having a hard time also. And of course, he's getting grumpy. But I do like the relationship between Logan and Charles Xavier in the movie. It's really funny, and it's really heartbreaking sometimes. But it's really good to see these two actors get into their characters one last time. And so basically, a mysterious woman who works for some sort of corporation has a little girl with her, and she wants to get this little girl out of the United States into, I think, to Canada. And so she definitely asks Logan for help. But of course, Logan here wants nothing to do with her, because there's a corporation out there looking for Charles Xavier and this little girl. And so there's this big mystery behind it. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. I'll tell you more about that in the spoilers. But that's kind of what the movie's about. Logan ends up protecting this little girl, and ends up protecting Charles Xavier from these bad guys who just want to, you know, take control of them and bring them to their laboratory. So that's basically what the movie's talking about. So now, Logan is an amazing movie. First of all, it is the best X-Men movie ever, because not only is this movie an action flick, but you forget that it's a superhero movie, because it's so realistic. You know, the storyline is just great for an action flick. Of course, they're all mutants, and it's all based off a comic book. You know, it's just, you forget, oh, this is a superhero movie. No, it's not a superhero movie. It's an action flick. But still, you get the sense of that this is very realistic. It's very well done. The writing was great. The writers did a great job for this movie. The action is spot on, and by the way, the action is very intense. Now, this is the first rated R movie for an X-Men film next to Deadpool. But I was not expecting so much gore, so much blood, and so much people getting ripped apart by Wolverine's claws. Because in the previous X-Men movies, we never really get to see that. It was very dumbed down to be PG-13, just to kind of reach the teenagers as an audience. But for this film, it's explored more. They definitely let Wolverine, his rage comes out, and they put good use to his claws. I'll tell you that. If you see the movie, the first scene that comes in, oh my goodness, rip the dude's face. The guy's arm came off. Oh man, it was really intense, and that pretty much sets the tone for the rest of the movie. Gory, brutal violence. Oh, but it was good. You know, it's an action flick, so it was worth watching, definitely. And I saw this movie with my father, and he enjoyed it. He loved it. He really liked it. Although he did say it was different, and I'll tell you why it's so different to him. But we'll get into that later. Anyways, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. This movie deserves 5 stars, and this is Hugh Jackman's last performance as Wolverine. And let me tell you, it is the best performance he's ever done for Wolverine. And man, he did a great job for this film. And for his past, 9 roles as Wolverine, he did a great job. And I really liked Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He's the true Wolverine. Just as much as Robert Downey Jr. is truly Iron Man, same goes for Hugh Jackman. So, Hugh Jackman, if you're watching this, good job. Good job. Anyways, okay, let's get into spoilers. Spoiler time. If you haven't seen the movie, pause the video and go watch the movie. Go check it out. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoiler number 1. Wolverine dies. And that's what made this movie different to my father. Now, I was expecting this because this was, this is what they said in, the articles online, being Hugh Jackman's last performance as Wolverine. So I was expecting him to die. But I wasn't expecting him to die like this, where he pretty much gets impaled by a tree branch, or by a tree of some sort. And that was sad, because you develop this relationship between Wolverine, or Logan, and the little girl who's Experiment X-24, I think? Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 23. Anyways, you get this relationship between them. You really enjoy the connection that they have, because, another spoiler, the little girl is Logan's daughter. So, which makes sense. Wolverine would do that. He would have a kid, because he lives forever. He can't die. But anyway, yeah. So that's what made this movie so different, is that the hero dies. He ends up dying for, I guess, the kids. The other mutant kids in the movie. Another spoiler for you. Some mutants. Kids. But yeah, it was just really, really... It was sad. I definitely teared up. And I was shocked that they were going to kill him off like this. I was like, man, I was expecting it too. And I was like, oh, don't do it. Really, let Wolverine live. Because my dad mentioned maybe Wolverine or Logan is going to become the new Charles Xavier. Because he brought the little girl to these kids. So that was really just... It was sad to watch that last scene. That last line Wolverine says, "So this is how it feels to be loved, to love." Man, so sad. So sad. Anyways, another spoiler alert, of course, is Charles Xavier dies. The leader of the X-Men, the person who started the X-Men, he dies. He leaves us. I expected that when I first saw the Logan trailer, because in the Logan trailer you see Logan and the little girl just standing there looking down, and they're all bloodied up and just torn to pieces, and just like, they're looking pretty sad at that scene in the trailer, and I was like, oh no, Charlie Xavier can't die. That was the scene where they buried him, and it was just really sad. Another sad part of the movie. So the thing about this movie is that it's dark. It's much darker, and the critics did mention that this movie is like a dark night for the X-Men movies. That it was really dark and brutal, just as the Dark Knight was. But man, it was just really sad to see Charles go like that. And you know, he was a very good character. One of those characters and actors you enjoy watching because they bring such a presence into the performance and into the film. It's like, man, this is really good. And they definitely, Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart definitely did their homework for these, these films. You can tell they read the comics and they put their heart and soul into it. Another spoiler is of course, I don't know if you know this or not, but I don't know if these even are spoilers or not, but whatever. Logan wanted to kill himself with the adamantium bullet that we remember seeing from Wolverine Origins 2009. Yeah, and I thought that was really sad too, because man, he didn't want to live no more. And plus he was growing sicker and weaker because the adamantium metal inside him was poisoning him to the point where he just couldn't heal fast enough like he used to. Getting shot at all the time. The bullets took a long time for them to come out of him. Same thing for his claws. Sometimes the claws don't even come out all the way. It was pretty sad to see that. Just him, you see his character falling apart, and you just see him. He's been through so much. It's just crazy. But yeah, that was another spoiler. I think another spoiler is... I think a great thing that the film did was they actually put X-Men comic books into the movie. And the little girl read these X-Men comic books because, in the films, X-Men are idolized as, the heroes of the world. They stood up for what they believed in. And comic books were made to idolize them. And the little girl would read these comics. And in the comics, it talked about a safe haven, which was a location for these little kids, the mutant kids that escaped the laboratory and were experimented on because the scientists wanted to create more mutants. And so that was really cool how they did that. And of course, Logan's like, oh, this ain't true. These comic books are lies. This bull and all this. And this is great to see that, those comic books. I want to buy that comic book, by the way. I need to buy that issue and just keep it because that's just a great comic book scene in a movie. Anyways, another spoiler alert has got to be... trying to think here. I just thought about it. Another thing I think was that... I don't know. I think that's everything. If you guys think of more spoilers, things I didn't mention in the video that was in the movie, just drop them down in the comments below. But one thing my father was a little bit confused about this was the fact that there weren't any post-credit scenes like usually in a Marvel movie. And I'll clear this up for most of you guys. If you guys don't even know this, or for my father who's watching, he probably doesn't even know either. But X-Men movies and Avengers movies are all separate companies. Avengers is all, Captain America, Marvel, but it's led by Disney. So those post-credit scenes, they belong to Disney. Whereas X-Men belongs to 20th Century Fox. And they have the rights and all this copyright stuff to use the characters in their films. And so that's why there really wasn't a post-credit scene like there usually is in an X-Men movie or in a Captain America, Iron Man type movie. It's just because they're not connected. They're different companies. Sometimes there's a post-credit scene in an X-Men movie. Sometimes there are. But mostly for Logan, there wasn't going to be one because that was just the end. The end for Logan and Wolverine. That was just the end of the legacy. And I thought it was done very well done. So yeah, that was about it. They're just different universes. They cannot connect at all. Hopefully they try to. That'd be kind of cool to see some X-Men characters in the Avengers, but I don't. I think this is the very last time we're gonna see Logan as Wolverine. But it's definitely a well done movie. So thank you so much for watching.